I was sad, man, when you told me
Hey, Dan.
And before we call this meeting to order, as a reminder, the public can call in or log on to listen to the board meetings live. Please make sure to speak clearly into the microphone so that people listening online can hear. And presenters and any people testifying, please state clearly your name and position before starting. I hereby call this meeting to order as of 1:31. We'll be taking the agenda items out of order, and first we'll have action on the appointment of 2 individuals to serve as members of the Adult and Community Education Advisory Council. I'd like to call on Suzanne Mulcahy, Assistant Superintendent of the Office of Curriculum, Instruction, and Student Support, to provide the presentation on this agenda item. Aloha.
Aloha. I am Suzanne Mulcahy, Assistant Superintendent for the Office of Curriculum, Instruction, and Student Support. I have brought with me today Educational Specialist Debbie Meow, who is an expert in all things adult education related, and she is going to explain the purpose and the decision that you will be making today.
Aloha.
Thank you.
The purpose of the Adult Education and Community Education Advisory Council is to give input to the adult schools on the operations and also to support whatever we are doing. Currently, we have a new law that President Obama enforced, and so we have to work diligently with the Department of Labor and the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. So this advisory council that is comprised of community leaders, military personnel, and post-secondary education members really help us to focus and to move our program forward. And it is for this purpose that I am requesting the recommendation of two individuals. The first is Ms. Precious Willis Dakilar, and the other is Mr. Sam Moku.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions for the board, from the board? Vice Chair DeLima.
Mr. Chairman, inasmuch as there has been no public testimony on this subject, I would move to approve Precious Willis Dakilar and Sam Moku. And we have their resumes attached.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion? Okay, I call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we'll be taking agenda item 7A, board action on the review and extension of the 2011-2018 Department and Board Strategic Plan, the final version out of order. Before we listen to the presentation, we will accept public testimony on this item. But given the amount of testimony that we received thus far, and we appreciate all of the testimony that all of you provided, we're going to, in the interest of time, we're going to be limiting the amount of testimony to those that can provide testimony that's in addition to the written testimony. So if you have something you'd like to say verbally in addition to what you've already submitted, that would be fine. If you want your written testimony to be referred to, we'd gladly be able to refer to your name and your written testimony online. But in the interest of time, and if we have a healthy discussion on the strategic plan, we're going to need to minimize the time. So I appreciate your consideration of that. Do we have any testimony at this time, Gina?
Yes, Chair. Deborah Haler, Olamana School Strategic Plan, followed by John Sosa, EIH, Superintendent Search Committee, followed by Roberta Mayer, EIH, Strategic Plan.
Again, in the interest of time, we're going to limit this to a minute per testimony. Apologize for that.
Sorry, I understand that I have a written testimony, so.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay. You want to state your name just for people to refer to your written testimony online?
Yes, my name is Deborah Hyler.
Deborah Hyler.
Teacher at Olamana School, but just representing myself.
Thank you for your consideration of our time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My part of the search committee. When you do the search committee.
Yeah, this testimony is only on the strategic plan, sorry.
Kalamani. Roberta Mayer, followed by Corey Rosenlee, HSTA President.
Aloha, Roberta.
Good afternoon, Board Chair and members of the board. I have given my written testimony to be handed out, but I am just going to give you like 2 paragraphs.
Okay, thank you.
I am here to urge the board to defer approval of the strategic plan. The governor's, in its current version, the governor's ESSA task force has recently presented a bold, far-reaching vision for the future of education in Hawaii, as described in the ESSA Blueprint for Education. I understand that the DOE's strategic plan is designed to cover a shorter time frame of 3 to 5 years. However, the strategic plan in its current version does not align closely enough with the ESSA Blueprint to clearly indicate that the DOE has embraced the vision in the ESSA Blueprint and is seeking to incrementally implement its long-range vision. As a strategic plan, it should describe the initial steps the DOE will take to make the vision of the ESSA Blueprint a reality in the future. It may take several 3 to 5 year strategic plans to make the vision a full reality, but it needs to start with the beginning today. If the board truly embraces the bold vision laid out in the ESSA blueprint, then the strategic plan for the board and DOE for the next 3 to 5 years must make a significant first step to turn Hawaii's education system the right side up. The work that happens at the school level must be considered the most important.
Sorry, Ms.
Hawaii
Mayor, do you have
needs
much more to?
Just one sentence.
Okay, thank you.
Hawaii needs empowered schools with effective principals and every office within the department committed to making those schools successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha, Clark.
Good afternoon, Corey Rosenlee, President of the Hawaii State Teachers Association. The Hawaii State Teachers Association is asking this board to not approve the strategic plan currently and wait till next year for 3 big reasons. Right now, we still believe that it's too broad. It does not give enough specific proposals on how to actually fix these things. And the current thing that we're asking for, it states something like, we believe that students should have innovative and creativity. Who would disagree with this? But the question is this: does the department believe that it is doing currently? And if it's not, what's going to change in the future? Until we actually have policy in place, we don't know if this is actually going to be implemented or not. How can we approve it? Second thing is, the ESSA blueprint has come out. We need to crosswalk these two. We need to make sure that the thousands of voices that were part of the process with the ESSA blueprint are heard and implemented in the strategic plan as well. The third thing is, we came here recently talking about authentic assessments and the importance of it. And the department suggested that they didn't have enough time because they were waiting for the regulations to come out. So we need to make sure that the regulations have come out. In time, we need to implement these as well and make sure that now they have come out, that this should be part of the strategic plan as well. And that's my 1 minute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your consideration of our time.
Muriel Ellsworth, Waiakea High School, followed by Lisa Morrison, Maui Wa'ena.
Aloha.
Aloha Board. This is Marae Ellsworth, Waikea High School from Hilo, a teacher. And I just wanted to say I've attended the teacher leader work group session, the BOE, DOE community meetings in 2 communities on the Big Island, and also 3 Governor's ESSA town hall meetings. And the document that I'm seeing in the strategic plan does not reflect all those post-its I saw on the wall. It is not reflecting the community's will. Again, I've seen project-based learning and authentic assessment on so many of those post-its, and I'm not seeing it here specifically. Also, we do have to take advantage of the extended deadline that ESSA has given us, pushing it to April. We have that time, let's use it wisely. I also ask you in my written testimony to look at point number 4. That's a specific example of some of the contradictory language in the plan, and you can't have, as an English teacher, you can't have things that contradict themselves. So we have to look at this thing more closely. It's just not ready. Let's not take a vote on this yet. Let's fix it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha.
I'm Lisa Morrison, and I teach at Maui Waina Intermediate School. Thanks very much for the opportunity to speak. I came over today because I took a look at the strategic plan after I received an email. And I was concerned because the email from the department says that they're confident that I will see myself in the plan, and that's why I'm here. An important aspect is missing from the current strategic plan, and so I'm asking you to delay approving it until it's revised. Teachers are missing. Any of us with more than 5 years of experience in the department are not included in the plan whatsoever. There's no plan to retain teachers, and the only measure that's been included is the 5-year retention, so new teachers and whether we keep them for 5 years. And those of us with more experience, there's nothing. Professional development has been suggested as the only strategy for how we're going to keep teachers. But I assure you, we stay in spite of the professional development that's offered. And so I'm just going to urge you to go ahead and revise that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tracy Monroe, Dome Middle School, followed by Jim Sean, Hawaii Education Policy Center.
Aloha.
Joe Middle School. I'll refer to my written testimony, but I'll add that I did attend as many of the strategic plan refresh meetings as I could. I didn't see any of my feedback reflected in the final plan. The only place I see myself is when it refers to teachers getting more professional development. So let me explain really quickly what that looks like. For the past 2 years, we've been asked to create pacing guides that were very complicated, filled with lots and lots of information. We spent hours and hours doing it. And we created some massive documents that went into binders or somewhere. And yesterday, I spent the entire day in a PD to create pacing guides because the outside provider who has a 2-year contract said that the pacing guides we have are ridiculous and not usable, which we know because we haven't been using them. So I pointed out to her that we were asked to create those pacing guides by the other people providing PD for us. So if that's what they're going to give us for PD, we do not want it. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha, Jim Shaw, Director of the Hawaii Educational Policy Center. I did submit kind of detailed questions and testimony on both documents. I wanted to emphasize one thing important, that neither one really does, the blueprint does it a little bit, but, and that is age-appropriate goals and objectives. The same statements are thought to be appropriately applied to a 5-year-old and an 18-year-old. Think about that. The exact same statements. There's no developmentally appropriate needs and educational goals for the very early, for the late elementary, from middle school, all the way up through high school. It seems to me that we have the intelligence and the time and the data to create appropriate goals and benchmarks and everything else for these different ages. And they are different, and the educational needs are important. The other thing I want to say is there's very little mention of research. Research as it applies to the young, but also for the teenage brain. We know internationally the teenage brain is mostly nocturnal, and yet we were piling on.
Mr. Sean, how much more time do you need? Because we're running out of time.
2 minutes, 2 seconds. You're piling on a lot of very heavy academics in the early part of the day when many young people are not awake. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alika McNichol, Aha Punana Leo Incorporated, followed by Sherry Nakamura, He'e, and Group of Equity Advocates.
Aloha.
Aloha, board members, aloha kako. My name is Alika McNichol, and I am a representative of the Aha Punana Leo, a nonprofit family-based education organization with 13 Hawaiian medium education preschools statewide. I have been asked by a number of mostly neighbor island Hawaiian language entities who cannot be here with us today to indicate that they support, with the same exact amendments, providing for equal recognition and treatment of education through both languages, Hawaiian and English, in the strategic plan. The entities are Hawaiian Language College, Ka'akaula Okele Kolani in Hilo, Navahio Kalani Opu'u in Hilo as well. All of our Punana Leo's preschools from Hilo to Kauai, as well as the Kealoha Aina Hawaiian Civic Club, and last but not least, the Aha Punana Leo, which is a statewide nonprofit. I also want to express my support for these exact amendments in the strategic plan as well. In closing, on behalf of the aforementioned entities, I humbly urge the board to please amend the language in the strategic plan to promote equal recognition and treatment of education through both official languages, English and Hawaiian. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Sherry Nakamura and I'm Director of He'e Coalition, and we just like to stand in support on our written testimony. But I'm also representing a group of advocates for equity in education, and we would also like to stand on our written testimony. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Andy Jones, Radford High School, followed by Vicky Parker Camp, Ilima Intermediate.
Aloha. Aloha. Andy Jones, Radford High School.
I feel there are deficiencies in the plan that need to be addressed before it is approved. First, it makes no sense to elevate professional development over the more crucial issues of salary, work environment, and basic hallmarks of professionalization, including respect, trust, and autonomy, which researchers cite as the primary factors behind teacher retention and recruitment. Second, echoing what Mr. Schoen said just a minute ago, it would be nice to see evidence of more educational research in the plan, such as reference to the OECD reports that show American teachers have far less preparation time built into the school day than international averages, together with measures to address this. Finally, the plan nicely admits that NCLB has had the effect of narrowing curriculum and instruction, while at the same time suggesting that the answer to this is adhering to the same mediocre assessment system left over from NCLB. This also is in contradiction with the objective on innovation, as our lingering commitment to standardized testing is limiting the extent to which teachers can innovate. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Vicky Parker Town.
Aloha.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.
My name is Vicki Parker Cam, and I'm the Academic Growth Coach and Curriculum Coordinator for EM Intermediate. I brought a sample of the Springboard workbooks that we're being required to use, and I'm asking you to delay the approval of the strategic plan because we want to look at the outside contractors, the providers and consumables, and the cost that that is incurring. After reviewing the strategic plan, what's most concerning to me as a professional is I don't see any changes in the curriculum or the expectation. If you'll refer just to the pink, I had a whole thing, but in 1 minute. If you could just refer to the pink posted in the back, I highlighted the word thesis. You'll notice if you turn to any of the pages in the book that say thesis, it's not taught, it's not referred to on 3 of them, and 1 of them gives a definition. So what happens is it is elsewhere in the book randomly, but the skills don't align. I've aligned 6th grade through 8th grade, and these are all my notes on my copy of all the things that I'm finding that are not actually in the book. So I would appreciate it if you deferred it until we could talk more about the curriculum we're being asked to use for our students. This is not the right vehicle to support them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kalama in advance if I mispronounce your name. D. Derego, Kahuku High School, followed by Alex Harris, Harrod Castle Foundation.
Aloha.
I'd like to thank the board for actually giving everybody the opportunity to be here. One of the reasons why I don't feel we always get the voice, I represent about 120 or so educators who met with me in a meeting since I was the one who was going to take the day off. I'm a testing coordinator and also an English teacher at Kahuku High in elementary or intermediate. I will stand on my written testimony, and I condensed it several times because normally we get a 4-minute, and I think it's a little longer than that. The thing that I'm most concerned about in the academic plan, and it's probably because of Kahuku, I've talked about moving somewhere closer so that I don't have to drive an hour every morning, every way. But I love the kids, and we have 50-60% of our students who are low income. And my problem is with Indicator 9, right? For me, Indicator 9 should be legally challenged. It is specifically saying students who after 4 years go straight into college. And that's just not going to happen at my school. They have to have years to work. Some of them go on missions. Some of them want to explore the world. Some of them know that they need time off before they go straight into college. I think that needs to be revised so that we have a little bit, especially if we're looking at innovation, we need to give students some time. I didn't get my teacher's degree until I was in my 40s. You know? It took me a long time to get there, but I'm one of the best teachers in my school.
Short.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Alex.
Aloha Chair, members of the board. I'll stand on my written testimony in support of passage of the plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Patricia Holligow, UH College of Education, followed by Monica Morris, Office of Hawaiian Affairs.
Aloha board. My name is Patricia Holligow. I'm a professor at the College of Education and a former board member. I stand by my written testimony. I support the passing of the strategic plan with 2 amendments, particularly from the perspective of our EL and our immigrant students. I offer 2 amendments. Well, first of all, I also want to recognize the support for the equal treatment of Hawaiian and English, but then the insertion of language recognizing the role of multilingualism as a way of achieving student achievement. This is consistent with board policy as well as grounded in the most long-standing research about dual language as one of the best strategies for student achievement. And then secondly, indicator 10, I feel that we need to be more specific about when we talk about qualified teachers and disaggregating that and looking at particular special education and our EL teachers. And lastly, the importance of resources for our EL and immigrant students and the support that our central office needs to support these